Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another edition of Art Throwdown. It is humid here in the Boston area tonight. Very, very humid. So I'm thinking it's going to rain. I'm waiting. It's been really hot the last 3 days, so I'm waiting for some rain to break it up. And Russ is coming in, and I see Janet, and I see Frank. Hey, guys. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello. Is it like super humid in New York tonight?
It is. It is very humid.
Okay.
It was supposed to rain all day today, so it didn't.
Right.
But
Same
it
here.
was threatening.
Yeah, and I stuck my face outside a few minutes ago and I'm like, oh, whoa. So it's like 99% humidity out there. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, Frank said that he had rain and humidity in Connecticut today,
So it must have all just
or
stayed there.
Connecticut.
It just stayed there. It
Yeah, that's
didn't
how I
come
used to
out this way.
pronounce it when I was little. Connecticut.
I couldn't say Wisconsin for the longest time as a kid. I used to call it Wisconsin. Wisconsin? I don't know, something like that because I didn't know how to pronounce it.
The one that gave me a hard time, and I apologize to Ashley, was Arkansas, because it looked like to me it was Kansas and Arkansas.
Yeah, there's a
You
couple
know,
states like
yeah,
that. I'm trying to think. There was
yeah.
one other that always tripped me up. Darn, it'll come to me. There was another one. It was a Midwestern one that I don't know. The name was always weird. But
And
then
I could
there's
never spell Massachusetts.
I couldn't spell it until I moved here about 10
Yeah,
years ago. So there's that. But the abbreviation is always nice too.
yeah. Okay, we've got lots of people on board
We
already.
do. I see Ashley also popped in, and Jim and Carrie. Yes, Illinois was another one. Illinois, as a
Yeah.
kid, I used to say. Yeah.
Saka Meg has joined. Welcome. Mail someone's mail someone smiles. Mail some smiles. Hello.
All right. Well, good evening, and pardon my wobbly camera situation here. I'm still fighting with this camera. It's kind of crazy. Okay. Well, Ashley says she likes my shirt. Sarcastic comment loading. It's appropriate, I guess.
Nan is here. Welcome, Nan.
Hello, Nan.
What does your shirt say?
It says, well, you can't see it because it's backwards, in the camera, but it says sarcastic comment loading.
Got it. Got it.
This is one of my favorites. So, yes. And what you got for us tonight, Russ? It looks like a tree.
You go first.
All right. This is going to be quick and easy. This is like a low barrier to entry kind of a craft. So, if you happen to have pieces of thin cardstock or packaging, like cardboard packaging that came from maybe stickers or I don't know, children's toys, things like that. I've just been cutting them into different heart shapes. And my plan is I've got all of this lovely paper that came from either watercolors or some of my jelly rolls from earlier this week, my jelly printing adventures. So I was going to take some of these and cut them up into little thin strips and then layer and overlap them on these cards. And then once they're all overlapping and they're kind of collaged on there, I'm going to take my handy dandy grown-up scissors and cut around the edges, and I'm going to have some colorful paper art heart embellishments for postcards and greeting cards and things like that. So that's my plan. It's going to be very simple.
Okay, so Gina has joined. Welcome, Gina. Zoe has joined. Welcome. Pam has joined. Welcome. I'm sorry,
Hello.
Gail has joined. Not Gina, sorry. Jeanina is Gail.
Okay. Hi,
Hello.
Gail. All right. So that is my low barrier to entry craft. It's very simple. It's literally just slapping pieces of paper on, then you cut around the edges. So that's tonight's project.
It, how do we actually always coordinate without knowing so? That's what I want to
I
know.
don't know. We're like on the same wavelength or something
Yeah,
out in the
because mine
cosmos.
is a low effort project as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So I am going to make. I've made these for years and years and years, and I've used them as receptacles for a variety of different things. But I am going to make a envelope flip book.
Ooh.
So this is
Okay.
just a little. You can use it as a journal. You can use it as a travel journal. You can use it as just a depository of things that you want to keep together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just made from pre-made envelopes. Now, the beauty of this is if you're an envelope maker like some people we know, you can make your own envelopes, which adds another layer of interest to it. But so what you do is you assemble these envelopes together, and it turns it into a little book, and then you amend the pages to make it look better. But you can also have these pages with these little slots in it that you can put things in. And so what I've been doing with them lately is I've been sending out postcards to people, unused postcards to people. And so I have been using them to put little, to put them in and to embellish. So I'm going to show
Love
you
it.
that today.
Love it. That is
Yeah,
awesome. And you could put, I mean, beyond the postcards, you could put like for people that swap, a lot of people swap pieces of memo sheet, like different assorted memo sheets. I could
e-
see us putting stamps or stickers in there,
exactly. And
paper
that's the
scraps.
reason for it.
Yeah.
And each of these pages is going to be decorated. So it's not just going to be the blue, but and you can make slots on slots. You can, it's little folders. You can use tags. You can use
Mm-hmm.
whatever pieces of scrap paper, which is what I'm going to use today to show you what I've been using from all the other projects that I have this week. And so that's how I'm going to embellish these to make them look a little bit nicer.
Excellent. Okay. Well, that sounds like a good plan to me. All right. And I knew there was a reason why I was taking all these old pieces of cut up loose leaf and making jelly prints. I didn't know at the time what I was doing them for, but I think I have found one of their purposes. And beyond just putting them in junk journals or smash books or things like that, I am going to be cutting these up into thin strips. And yeah, we'll see how they turn out. So and apologize for my lighting tonight. It looks a little bit dark. I don't know why that is. So try to
You
adjust
look
it.
you look fine by me, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I feel like I'm in a cave, kind of, sort of.
Jennifer does send her regrets. She can't be with us tonight. She is celebrating the Jewish holiday today. Apparently,
All right.
it's a Jewish holiday today. I don't know which one, but
Cool.
so she is not with us tonight. But she did send her apologies for missing.
All
She would have
right.
loved to have been here if she could.
No worries. We realize real life happens outside of Art Throwdown as well, so no worries whatsoever.
So, are you just going to tuck in and start doing your thing?
I think so. It's
Okay,
a
great.
it's a pretty quick
So,
project. Yes.
yeah, mine is going to take a little explaining to do. So, I'll let you do your thing, and then I'll explain as I'm going along. Um, what I do is you can do this with a variety of different number of envelopes. I use 3. I just find it easier to do. And it's best if you have these envelopes that have the square flap as opposed to the triangle flap. And it really is easy. All you need is some kind of adhesive, and you really don't even need this if you have envelopes with those security strips on them that you can just tear off the little paper coating,
Mm-hmm.
and it sticks. Or you can just moisten the glue strip that's already here. But I use just liquid glue, just easy liquid glue. So the first one, what you're going to do is you're going to take one envelope. The flap is open to the right. You're going to take another envelope. The flap is open to the left. And then you're going to insert the left-facing flap into the envelope. Okay, so that's what you have. That's your first page. And then what you're going to do is you're going to apply glue here. So you're going to seal this. So you're going to lose this little enclosure here. Okay, and then we're going to cover this with paper so it doesn't look like it's 2 envelopes stuck together.
So you're using a separate sheet of paper as sort of a page liner. I don't know if that's the right term for
Yes,
it.
yeah, I'll show that. I'll
It's to kind
decorate
of
the pages.
camouflage it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Aha.
The big thing is I was always taught to cover your mechanics.
That's a good way
So
to think of it. Yes.
yeah. My friend Yamali from the Paper Source, one of my managers from the Paper Source Rockefeller Center, is here. Hello, Yamali. Welcome.
Hello. Good evening.
So that is the first page. Okay. And then what you wanted to do, I did this already, is that you want to make sure that this edge aligns so that your pages align. And then, so right now you have this opening that you'll be able to use. And then you have this opening that you'll be able to use. Okay. And then you can continue adding as many pages as you want. So if I wanted to do a 4-page or a 5-page, I would just simply continue adding pages. But you don't want this to get too thick. So you just want to keep that in mind.
For that size
Okay.
envelope, what would you say would be like the max number of pages that you would realistically recommend?
I would do 5 as the maximum, because what happens is the more layers you put on the interior, the more difficult it is for this back flap to fold over all of them.
I
So
see.
that's why you don't want it too thick. And you also want to keep in mind that once you start adding things, including cover papers and inserts and stuff like that, this is going to get thicker and thicker.
Got
So
it.
you want to keep that in mind as well. So my third page, do the exact same thing. I did that there, but rather than glue down, so rather than glue down this here, what we're going to do is we're going to glue this here, and this is going to become the back page. I need your help here. Is
Okay.
it Junie Finney
I see
is
Junie
joined? Maybe.
Finney, yep, and
Yeah.
Yamali
Okay.
joined. Hello
Yeah.
to you both. Good evening.
Annie has joined Pen Pals with Annie. Welcome.
Hello, Annie.
So Allison is making some heart-shaped covered figures with Junie is in New York. Welcome, Junie. Where in New York are you? Allison is from originally from upstate New York, and I'm in New York City. And so she's covering shapes that she's cut out with some of the papers that she has did background painting this week. And I am doing a envelope flip book. So these are my pages now that I have. Keep in mind that this is secured, so this is not open. This has an opening here. I can use this page as a page. Junie is in Westchester County, so she's right above me in the Bronx.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Okay.
Welcome.
So, and then I have this secret compartment here, and then I have this compartment here that I can use. So, and you can cut off, you can close any of these that you want. So if you want to glue this down, you may certainly glue this down. I tend to leave as many of these open as possible, because what I will do is I will, like hidden surprises, tuck some of these surprises in these different enclosures. So it's like a surprise every time you turn a page or look at it.
It's kind
But
of
that
like
is the
getting a
basics.
gift each time you
Yeah,
open
it
that
is.
page. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that concept.
You can do, if I used a larger envelope, I could have used one of these playing cards as well. And what I do with these playing cards is if I send out washi samples.
Are those
This is
oversized playing cards?
it is.
Where
It
did you
is.
get those? Those are cool.
I got these at Paper Source.
Wow. Okay.
These are huge. And I have actually sent this out as a postcard.
And hello to Doodle. Is that Doodle Sutra? I love your handle. That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to Art
So,
Throwdown.
yeah. And the great thing for this is that this is a great way to use all of your scraps of paper because you have limited sizes that you can, all these offcuts that you have. So that's what I'm going to do to decorate what I have here. And so this is what you want it to be, kind of thing. So I'm a measurer, but you don't have to be. You can just start cutting away as you want and just use pencil marks and things like that. But I like the exactitude of measuring. So that's what I'm going to do. And all I have left to do is to start decorating these pages.
Excellent. And then what sort of materials are you going to be using to decorate the pages with?
Like some of this leftover scrapbook paper that I have,
Beautiful.
I'm going to use that. I'm going to use, I have this sheet of washi paper from Japan that I'm going to
I was going to
use.
say that one looks familiar. I think I've
Yeah,
got that one. Yep.
yeah. And I've got some of this French paper ephemera that I'm going to use that you have some as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it's whatever you have that you want to use the scraps of that you don't need a whole bunch of stuff um, in quantities. So
All right, so here is heart number one. I'm going to try to train the camera over and the light so you can see it. This is what Scrappy Heart number one looked like. And again, it's just these are just packaging from children's toys and other random things like stickers that I've gotten from Dollar Tree. So could this be used for Valentine's Day? Probably. It could be a nice Valentine's craft. But I'm planning to probably layer these onto my postcards at some point. So there we go. There's heart number one, Scrappy Hearts. And then once this is over tonight, I will take a picture of the finished set of them so you guys can see what they all look like. And I can't claim that idea as my own. I cannot remember where I saw it, but I saw it on someone's Instagram feed, some artsy person that I follow, and I can't remember who it was, but I thought, hey, that's kind of a cool idea.
that was me, by the way.
No, it wasn't.
It was. It wasn't. Just joking.
No, someone was doing paper weaving with them, and they were like, all like, I'm gonna try to do it with my fingers, like, the papers were all woven like perfectly. They look something like that. And I'm like, I do not have the patience or the fortitude to sit down and attempt that. So I'm like, but I could just layer my papers on and make it look super cool. So that's what I've done instead. Like, that's just going to take lots of concentration. And, I don't like to concentrate too heavily here when we do the throwdowns. So I like to keep it light and like non-committal if I can. But yeah, I will say the jelly prints that I made the last 3 days were a big hit with my daughters. They kept looking at all the prints and they loved the ones with the stencils. So at some point, I think they're going to want to probably try jelly printing themselves. So that should be fun. It's a good rainy day activity.
It's good to keep it all in the family.
That's right. That's right. Pass it along.
So, what is everyone else working on today? I'd love to know.
Yes, that is the biggest question of them all.
Do we have Jim and Phil tonight?
Jim, we do. I do not think
Okay,
I
cool.
saw Phil. So Phil, if you're
So
out there, dude, we noticed you're not here.
I sent out a whole bunch of mail today. So people expect things.
Ooh, okay.
So I sent your package out today, so you can expect
Thank you.
yours. Yeah. I didn't fill it with too much stuff.
No worries, man.
But I definitely filled it
Quantity is
with
not
the.
important.
I definitely filled it with the punch board that you wanted. And I
Sweet.
actually threw in a couple of postcards that I thought you would enjoy. Um,
Were they off kilter postcards?
I forgot what I sent you, to be quite honest with you. Yes, some of them were funny. So
Sweet. You
yeah.
know exactly what I enjoy.
Well, I was gonna send some naughty ones, but I thought better of it. But they're still funny, so I
Okay.
sent you the funny unnaughty ones.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That is
Yeah,
awesome. Thank you.
yeah.
I will keep my eyes peeled for it.
Ashley says she's going to need a tutoring lesson for this envelope punch board she's trying to use. So if you finish your project early tonight, maybe you can demo that for her.
As a matter of fact, hold on. I've actually got my envelope punch board right here
I was
because
going to say, do you have it readily available?
I
And she
actually
does.
do. Somehow, Ashley, you read my mind and I read yours because I brought it. I brought it downstairs because I thought, I've got these pages, these prints that I did last night. These jelly prints from my jelly rolling, right? So here's one of them, and you can see part of a doily that I did. Here's some of the impression that it made. It was a half a piece of doily. But I was going to take these and start making them into the smaller size envelopes, not necessarily mailable ones, but I like to make smaller size envelopes so that I can tuck stickers in or used stamps or, smaller paper bits and things like that. So I'll tell you what, I will finish up cutting this heart and I will drag over my my equipment and you guys can see me make a small envelope and I will walk you through, Ashley, through that process because there is a trick to the punch board and it wasn't until there's actually a gal out in the UK and her username is Bronwen Creates. I do follow her, so she's one of the folks that I follow, and she had an excellent tutorial at one point. I actually learned from her. The punch board has a trick to it. So I will show you what that trick is. Because I kept, originally when I got the punch board, I kept trying to make envelopes and I'm like, why are they not turning out properly? And they just kept, the dimensions were off. And I'm like, I thought this thing was supposed to make the process easy. Well, it is. And there's one fundamental shortcut that you should know. So I will get to that shortly here.
Pam is making sympathy cards. She's been on a roll with that. I think sympathy cards are some of the hardest cards to make. And even being a card maker at one point in my career, I always had a hard time making them because it's so difficult to find the right kind of sentiment and
Yes.
image to use. So let's see. Gail is working on her coronavirus diaries entry. If you haven't followed Gail, please do. She has this thing where she uses postage stamps
Ooh.
as a medium in which to make commentary about the coronavirus and just in U.S. in general. So if you don't follow Gail already, you should, especially if you're into postage stamps or any artistic endeavor.
Excellent. Thank you for
And
sharing
she was
that.
on my
Yeah.
podcast a couple of episodes ago. So um, let's see, Junie, it is a going to be a mini book made out of envelopes, and so that's what this project is. And then I'm going to continue to decorate the interior pages. I'll probably do this probably two-day project, so I'll probably continue this tomorrow. And for those of you who are new who don't know, that you can see reruns of each of these episodes on the YouTube channel, Art Throwdown. So anything that you miss or want to watch want to get a repeat watch of, you can view those episodes there.
And one other thing I will say, Pam noted that when she cries when she makes the sympathy cards, like I completely understand that sentiment. Like I have a really hard time writing them, regardless of like I'll go to a card store or Dollar Tree or wherever, and I'll find a good one that's suitable. Even just writing the message out in the card, I it takes me a long time to try to figure out like what is the right thing to write down, you know? Because I want to
Uh,
put a message in there about something that I remember about the person who's passed, or for me it's like a brain bender. I'm like, how do I write this in such a way that it
there
is sensitive and
there are some great books out there. If you want, you can also visit my website online, Postcards for Good. And under the resources section, there is a section on things to write on a postcard in terms of sympathy as well.
Okay.
So I'll probably try to add some links to some of these books that are out there. So when you are at a loss for words of what to write, these are some good suggestions of things to put in your note of sympathy.
Excellent. All right, so it's on your Postcards for Good site.
Correct.
Okay, excellent, excellent. All right, so Ashley, I am a woman of my word, so I am going to, now that I've got these little guys made, these first two here, I am going to, and by the way, I really like how these turned out. Like they are so low budget, and you know me, I'm El Cheapo. I'm like, woo! So, all right, I'm
You're
good with
frugal. The
these.
word is frugal.
Yes, I am frugal. I fit right in up here in Massachusetts. Everybody's frugal up here. Well, most people are. Okay. Let's see. Got my punch board here. So, Russ, if you are wrapping up your tutorial over there, I will start this thing. So
No,
let
do
me.
your thing. I'm
All
just
right.
people can just watch me do my thing. Like I said, I will continue this on to tomorrow. Uh, it's Carrie has asked, are we all postcard people, pen pals, letter writers, card senders? Let us know what medium you use when you are using the mail system. Um, I am primarily a postcard sender. I do have cards that I make. I do have stockpile of all kinds of correspondence. So I am primarily a postcard sender. I do have some letters that I send out to people that I've been writing. Some of them for thirty over 30 years now. I think almost 40 years now.
Wow.
Um, yeah,
So the question was, are you postcard, greeting card, or long letter pail?
yeah. Any of the above or all the above,
I'm
whatever.
all of the above, and
Yeah,
it depends on who the individual is too. If it's for me, if it's someone that I grew up with and I've known them for years and years, they're getting a long letter from me. Chances are. But I also lately, actually, since I've met all of you guys, I've really gotten into the postcard scene, and I honestly never took to it before, so that's been another one. And then greeting cards, I usually reserve those. Well, unless it's a note card, like a blank note card, sometimes I'll send those out because it gives you a little more real estate to write on versus a postcard. But depends on how much I have to say, I guess. So I'm all three, though, I think, in general. All right, so Ashley, I'm going to start this tutorial very quickly here. So first thing I've got to do is measure this paper. So this is going to turn into a smaller envelope. So I've got my Fiskars portable paper cutter here. Highly recommend this product, by the way. It's portable, and I have been using it for months now. So let's see. Size-wise, looks like we could do an 8, maybe an 8 by 8 sized little card or envelope here. So if you go on to this guy, you've got this lovely sizing chart here. Oh, Christmas cards. So Jim, Christmas cards, I definitely am a Christmas card sender. Although that said, I might mix it up this year and make some holiday funky Christmas themed postcards to send around. I'm not sure yet. But I was also thinking of doing the same for Halloween. So those are some of my favorites, but I might
do you
actually do
have?
postcards.
Speaking of Halloween, do you have the spooky silhouettes stamps, postage stamps?
I had them, past tense, And then I got overzealous and I sent out some Halloween cards, and then I just kept putting them on everything because I liked them so much.
Well, here's the thing. They're still available when I looked today on
Ooh,
USPS.
okay.
So now is the time, and this is for everybody. Now is the time to get them when people aren't thinking about them,
Mm-hmm.
if it's something that you really want. Because once people start getting into the spirit of the holiday, they're going to go fast.
Yes.
So, and also, if you are a big fan or if you want something to save, a series to save, the Year of the Rat stamps are still available on USPS. So if you want to start collecting that entire series, this is the first year of the 12-year series. So get those two now while they're still available.
Beautiful. Beautiful. No, that is very good to know. I didn't realize the spooky silhouettes was still available. And I loved how shiny and almost holographic those things were. So all right, so very quickly, Ashley. So if you have a standard size piece of paper, an 8.5 by 11, you can actually take this and make a 5-bar envelope out of it. So what I've done here, I've looked on my, there's a column here for card size, and there's a column here for paper size. Typically, unless I'm trying to size this to a card, I just go by paper size. So in this case, the 5-bar envelope, which is, good for a letter or something smaller. The dimensions of your square, so you're always going to cut your paper first into a square. So it's going to be 7 7/8 by 7 7/8. So I'll start there with the cutting. And I'd just like to point out that it is 10:30, so Russ's neighbors are going to wake up soon.
No, they've already been up.
Okay. And this paper cutter comes in pretty handy because I find that when you use this, the paper cuts tend to be pretty darn accurate, so it helps. All right, so 7 7/8 on one side and 7 7/8 on the other side. Okay, so I should now have a perfect square. So here's my square. Now, the third column on this paper puncher says score line. So what you're going to want to do is, in this case, for the A5 envelope, the score line says 3 3/8. Okay? So you're going to want to take and line up your paper to and it's going to go, see how there's this little plastic pointy thing that's sticking out? It's very technical. You're going to shove that under there, and you're going to locate 3 3/8 inches. And hold on, I need to adjust my old eyes for this. 3 3/8. Here we go. All right. So it looks like I had already marked this with a pencil so that I know, because I tend to make a lot of A5s. So you're going to line it up along this to 3 3/8. And then you're going to hold it down, make sure it's in position, and you're going to punch side one of your envelope. You might have to punch it more than once depending on what kind of paper you used. All right, so there is punch number 1. Now, flip the paper around so that you are on the exact opposite side. So you're going to go, actually, wait, oh crap. wait. I take that back. Before you do that, you're going to want to score it. What am I doing? I'm getting ahead of myself here. So making sure that your paper is lined up at 3 3/8. Crap, did I do this wrong? Wah, I did. I punched it wrong. Hang on. All right. This will be a semi-imperfect envelope, but it's all good. I was punching at 2 3/8, and I needed to be at 3 3/8. See, measure twice, cut once. All right, so for real now. We're just going to ignore that thing I did earlier. So we're punching it at 3 3/8. And then you're going to take your scoring knife and you're going to, there's a little line just to the right of that little point here that juts out. So you're going to take your scoring knife and very gently drag it through here. And I actually did this wrong. All right, I'm doing this a third time. Okay, just kidding. Take all that back. One thing you're going to want to do, I forgot to mention completely, my God. You're going to want whatever you want for your design to be on the outside of your envelope is going to be face down. So if I want this on the outside, you're going to want this down here. And what you're looking at on here is actually the inside of your envelope. So, all right, the third time's the charm. I swear to God, 3 3/8. Punch it. Get your knife out. Score along this little track line here. And then it's got these, it's not supposed to look like this with all these other waves here. So just imagine that it's just like this on one side. Now you're going to take it to the exact opposite side and you're going to punch the same dimension, so 3 3/8. Punch it and then score it. And then this is where I got into trouble last time before I saw that lady in the UK's video. I was trying to score 3 3/8 on each side, and I'm like, my envelope looks all crazy. Like, why doesn't it look right? Come to find out, you're going to want to rotate it to one side, to the next side over. You're going to find where the original score line was that you just made after your original punch. And you're going to line it up to those score lines. Don't measure, just eyeball it and line it up to your score line. And then punch it. And then you're going to score that side of the envelope. And then finally, you can see I've got a score line going down here. I've got one down here, and I've got one going up here. Now this side still doesn't have anything, so I'm going to take this remaining score line, again, don't measure, just eyeball it and line it up to the scoring point. And I made that up as a term, so hopefully that makes sense. You're going to line it to the point, score it, punch it rather, and then you're going to score it. So now you have an envelope with nice rectangle scored lines. Optional, but you can if you want. If you want it pointy edges, you can leave it as it is. If you want rounded edges, feed it through the back or the top of this thing. This is actually a page punch or a corner punch. So you're going to get these nice rounded corners using that. So I'm going to do that, in this case, on all 4 of my corners to make them look nice and rounded. So you should now have an envelope that is ready to go. So then you take your envelope that you've just cut out, and I usually like to pre-crease them, and especially if you have a medium on here like the acrylic jelly paints, it makes the envelope a little bit thicker or stiffer, but you're going to want to fold these down ahead of time. So like this. Get all those folds in place so you know what folds where. And that will also, if anything goes with your pattern and it's not supposed to be a certain like a certain side up or a certain direction, this will kind of help you decide what looks best for your design. So in this case, I think I want the flap, again, this was a little error on my part, so ignore these. But this is essentially what the envelope would look like. So I like the pink to be on top. So in this case, it does help to pre-fold. Now, conversely, you could decide that you want the red side up. So in which case you could just, again, it's folded. So you can take like this and like these. Oops. Oops. Flaps go in, side flaps go in, bottom flap goes up, and then you've got the top flap to come down. So just depending on what direction you want it. Okay, so Ashley is good. That is a trick that she couldn't figure out. Yeah, it took me days to figure out what was, and I was ready, no joke, I was ready to throw this thing into the trash. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Why doesn't it work? And then come to find out, it's that parallel punch and score thing that you've got to start with. So I will take my glue sheet back out and I will glue my edges. One other thing that I found helpful for the envelope assembly is to take these side points. I put my glue on the very bottom, the bottom half of these side points before I glue. So I'll do those, and then typically I will take this bottom flap and I'll do the outside here and the outside here just to make sure it's got some extra glue reinforcements. So, yep, that is how you use the envelope punch board. So hopefully that was helpful. And to those of you that are watching in the future, just remember, start with your parallel measure, punch, and score. And then eyeball the rest of those score lines on the other sides. And then one other like little stylistic thing I'll point out, and actually I lied, I have the red. The red is my top flap, and the reason I did that was because I had this like funky little error that I made, so I just tried to make the pink blend into itself a little bit. Now, one thing, and this is purely stylistic, some people like to leave this little tab thing up. I like to just cut it off, so I'll take it and I'll cut it across here just to get rid of it so that it looks flat. So, and the best time to do that is right as you're gluing or right after you've glued. So basically do it before your glue dries. It makes it that much easier to do. And so there we have the inside of this jelly roll, jelly printed envelope. And I would say from a sizing perspective, like I said, an A5, and this is your standard A5 envelope. It's good for mailing out letters, or, it's not huge, but it's a quote standard size. So it's mailable and good for popping a letter or a smaller card into it for whoever you're sending it to. All right, so I'm going to go back to my scrappy hearts here in the meantime.
Junie is asking how you plan on sealing the envelope.
Ah, yes. So in my case, there's a few different things that you can do, depending on how large your envelope is, and quite frankly, how much stuff you have stuffed into your envelope, which you may want to consider. If your envelope is not terribly overstuffed, you can simply take a glue stick. I use Uhu for this. And just simply go using a glue sheet underneath, of course. I like to go around the edges just like this. And then I will seal it. And then sometimes if I'm not feeling 100% confident in my glue, this is I love Uhu. It's a really good glue product. I use it all the time. But sometimes if I want some extra reinforcement, I will put a piece of colored cello tape on top here, like the shiny colored tape, or washi, depending on what color scheme I'm going with. So sometimes I'll tape it down, and then I also like to add like a round sticker just to triple seal it. So that's usually how I seal these things. Now, Russ has also pointed out in the past, if you're going to give this envelope as a gift, there are certain types of double-sided tape, and there's one that's about 1/8 of an inch in width that you can put here along the edges. And that's the recipient, if you're making envelopes for someone, the recipient can simply just peel off the backing and then stick it down and adhere it. So any other questions about my little envelope friend here before I go back to my hearts? All right. So hearing none, or I should say seeing none, I am going to put this away and I'm going to go back to my hearts.
So this is what Allison was talking about. Here's an envelope that I made,
Oh, thank you.
um, and then what you can do is, if you're going to give this as a gift, you can use this double-sided tape that has a liner on it. This is a 3M, but there's also what we call red line tape or super tape that you can do, and you would send it this way to the recipient, and then they can address it and then seal it by taking off this paper lining of this double-sided tape.
And Russ, what brand and manufacturer or what can you share with us what the brand is of that tape?
This tape is 3M.
It's 3M. Okay.
Right. The red line tape, I'll show you if I can find it real quick. This is the red line tape. This is a much thicker tape than you would need. The one that you would get would be 1/8 inch. This is called super tape. You can get this at Paper Source. You can also get it at Michael's, and they come in a variety of widths. So the one that you would use would be 1/8 or even a half.
And Pam also uses dab and seal. She says you can get a 4-pack at Walmart for a very reasonable price.
I haven't heard of score tape, Pam, so I don't know about that. The other thing is, I'm going to go to the other room. I'll be back in just a second.
Yeah, and Junie, yeah, Ashley's correct. Russ often makes these without the board needed, so it is absolutely possible to do them without it. In full disclosure, I don't know what the technique is for that. Russ would know the answer to that. I usually just rely on the punch board and my Fiskars paper cutter to get it done. But I'm sure Russ could offer up a tutorial on how to make them without. Yay! Ashley officially has made her first A5. I'm so happy. And now you're gonna get, all right, I'm camera going up. You're gonna get into this like weird paper crafting groove, okay? You're gonna get addicted to it. And the next thing you know, you're gonna start looking around your house, finding different pieces of paper that will make a suitable envelope. Now, one thing I will say that I found was kind of helpful with this, you can actually, oh, Phil is on. Hey, Phil. You can actually take this and make a gift card sized envelope. So I like to do this around the holidays, and you can make them look really cool. And all it takes really is you can do 5x5 paper size. You can find those little small scrapbook paper pads of paper. You can get them at Dollar Tree. You can get them at craft stores, whatnot. I get mine at Dollar Tree because, you know, frugal. So anyway, but I like to get those, and they're perfect if you want to give gift cards out to people for the holidays. So just another thought on another possible use for that punch board. But so many different sizes and specs on the envelopes that you can make. So there are a lot of options. Yes, 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 Janet. Wall calendars make excellent envelopes as well. I have one that is all of sea glass, and the paper, it's calendar paper, so it's a little thicker, a little glossier, but man, does that thing ever make an awesome envelope. I made some big envelopes out of that, and they look fabulous.
Of course, I can't find my sample to show you, but one of the other things I wanted to mention is you can do liners as well. Um, so if you want to, especially if you're using like magazine pages, it helps to have a liner because it makes your envelope a little bit thicker. Um, the other thing is that if you don't want to mar the front side of your envelope, so this is the front of the envelope, and this is the image that I want the recipient to see. And this is also the side that we would normally put the address and the stamp on. What you can do is you can buy mailing labels and do it on the flap side. And so this is so where Allison used her tape to secure here. You can use a label, a mailing label that does the same thing, and then you'd put your stamp up there in the top right corner, and that could be your mailing side so that the image that you worked so hard to get doesn't become marred with cancellations and things like that.
Is that a
So know
Rocky
that you
Horror
don't
Picture
have to
Show
use
themed
this as the front of
envelope?
your envelope.
Wait. Is that Rocky Horror Picture Show? What is that?
It is.
That is awesome.
This came from an Abercrombie and Fitch catalog.
That picture
Yeah.
was in Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
I would not have guessed that. It looks like, honestly, it looks like it came on a Mad magazine or something, the way they've got them sketched. Interesting. All right.
And then the other thing I showed a while back, I'll see if I can find them, I'll show them tomorrow, is that you can make a blank template. So what I would suggest that you do is to get either sheet protectors or do the same, something like that, or these transparency films that you can buy, and use that. Find the size that you want to do everything that Allison showed you how to do, so you can see where the score lines are, and then you can center the image that you want on your envelope. So that's the next level up if you want to be that that anal retentive or that exacting about it. So those are just some suggestions. See, this is the one I use for the 8x4. So this is the size, so that I can then go on here on the page to know where I want to cut out and where the image will be centered on the actual envelope.
Because how tragic is that? You have the perfect thing to put on an envelope, and then you score it and you cut it and you assemble it, and you're like, oh my God, this is not what I wanted. It's so sad.
Exactly.
Don't do
Exactly.
that. Don't be sad. Don't make yourself sad. That is I've done that. And I'm like, darn it, I ruined a good piece of paper that I was just saving for this. So avoid the sadness, use the template, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Avoid the sad trombone.
Wah wah.
Wah, wah.
Yes, and Ashley has gotten those same types of envelopes made out of calendars from some of her pen pals. So I think that's actually, someone had a funny calendar. It was called like Water Dogs or Dogs Underwater. And it was all these crazy dogs with like their eyes bugging out, like they were all swimming underwater, and their fur looked all like wavy and majestic because they were swimming. And I don't know, somebody took a bunch of underwater dog pictures and they made them into a calendar. So one of my very first calendar envelopes was a couple of those dogs swimming, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. And I thought, wait a minute, I have a sea glass calendar that makes really good sea glass envelopes. So there it was.
So this is where I'm going to stop for the day. So this is the envelopes together. This is just decorative. I'll still continue to decorate the front and the back more. And then you start flipping through the pages. So here I made
Ooh.
a little pocket where I can put a postcard in. This is another page that you can put something hidden back here or something hidden there. And I'm thinking things like tickets or anything like that. We have 5 minute warning.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Jim.
Thank you.
And then on this page, what I've done here is I like to send a little something extra when I send these out. So I'm going to send this little clip, this little smiley clip. But then what it is this is the perfect size to mount a 4x6 photo. So you would mount, it gives them the opportunity to mount the photo here and then to mount this on top of this page in the book. And then, so rather than adhere it, what I do is I clip it to the page, and then that is an added gift that the recipient will receive. So that's where I am tonight. I'll continue this project tomorrow, and finish it up for you tomorrow.
Cool. Yeah, that's looking pretty sweet. And here is heart number 3. So I kind of like the way this turned out, even with, this was again from my old jelly prints, even with the loose leaf lines, it kind of makes it look, I don't know, slightly distressed, which is just, it's up my alley in terms of paper style. So I'm like, yay, it's torn and distressed looking. So I think that was a pretty productive run here. We got 3 jelly roll hearts embellishments and 1 jelly rolled envelope. So yay.
And don't forget, tomorrow is Friday, so we have a new postcard challenge tomorrow.
Yes, yes.
But Cohen will make an entrance in his new outfit that he got in the mail today.
Ooh,
So
spicy.
you can look forward to that.
All right.
And tomorrow's challenge is dedicated to both you, Allison, and Ashley.
Right on.
And it is going to be a scrap collage postcard. The background can be made anything that you want.
Okay.
But each of the individual decorative elements can be no larger than 2 by 2 inches.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is
So it's
the
a
ultimate challenge.
Yeah, so it's a great way to use all those little stickers that you have, all those bits of paper that you have, all those little cutouts that you have.
I have many.
So the idea is to do what you do so well, is that put a whole bunch of stuff on a postcard and make it look good, and which is the challenge.
That
Because
is
anyone can just
always the
slap stuff
challenge.
down.
That's
Yeah,
true. That is
yeah.
always, always, always the challenge. And snail mail for Zoe. Yes, the challenges are actually posted to Russ's Instagram feed. And if you go back, about a week, Russ, there's a list of all the running postcard
There
challenges.
is a list, but if you go onto my profile page and click on the IGTV channel, all of them are listed there as well, and they're also listed under the program called Postcard Challenges. So what they'll do is that will limit the number of videos that you will see, and you can see them all there.
And the other thing I'll add is you don't have to do them sequentially. You can start with postcard challenge number 7 or wherever. So there's no time limit. It's very open-ended. So, and being a Gemini, I just like to hop around on them. So I'm like, look, I did postcard challenge 8, like randomly. So, yeah.
And the only thing that we ask is if you do share them on your Instagram, you just use the appropriate tag for that particular challenge so that others can see what you've done. And that's it.
That's it.
Do you want to say the good night?
Yeah, well, so as Russ always says, we know that you guys have other places that potentially you could be at this time, but you chose to be here with us, so we're super happy that you joined in. For those of you guys watching in the future on YouTube, we are here Monday through Friday. We are here weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes you just never know what we're going to be working on, so it's always a bit of a surprise, sometimes to us as well. So appreciate you guys hopping in here, and always interesting to see what other people are working on. So if you guys want to, feel free to tag us. The hashtag is Art Throwdown on Instagram. Feel free to tag Russ and I as well. We always love to see what you guys have made or what you are working on. And if you're just here to hang out and watch and listen to us banter, that's totally okay too. So anything goes. It's very open-ended.
And let us know if there's something you want us to see or wanted to try, or a craft that you always wanted or interested in, didn't know how to get there. So
Yep.
let us know, and we'll do our best to accommodate.
Or questions as well. If you have questions on something that we've made in the past, feel free to ask, and we'll do our best to walk you guys through it. So, cool.
Well, that's goodbye for me. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow night for a Friday night episode of the Art Throwdown.
Awesome.